Welcome to Harbour City Pilates. I'm Eben, and today we're going to be going through a slightly more advanced class. Let's go. Shoulder width stance, slight bend at the knee, exhaling as we press. We're just going to sort out our breathing first, in through the nose, drawing that breath deep into the belly before flattening out the belly as we exhale once more. Really exaggerate that expansion of the abdomen with every breath in, and then make a point of really flattening out that stomach and expelling all air from the torso. One more. And now as we inhale, we're going to lift one heel and drop into a squat. Shoulders back as we drop, swapping feet and keeping my eyes at skull level or above, because that line of vision is going to dictate my posture. If I'm looking at the floor, I'll end up leaning forward, and that's not what I want. We'll go for 4 more, getting that heel right up on every repetition, so the blade of the foot is basically vertical. And last one, before we come out nice and wide, looking at about a double shoulder width stance or even wider. One toe points off to the side. On that same side, a hand comes straight up, so it's not out in front or off to the side, but over the skull, opening up the shoulder and rib cage as the other hand reaches behind the back. Bending the knee and looking to tap the top of that thigh as I keep this arm overhead. Driving hips down. Nice deep breath into the belly. Before we come back up, drop hands and swap feet. So it's now the other foot that's pointing off to the side. That same hand comes up, other hand behind the back, and as we bend the knee and drive those hips down, we're reaching for the top of that thigh. Again, a nice deep breath into the belly, and then up we come, swapping feet once more. This time, one hand reaches straight up as the other one runs down the back of the leg. Eyes to the ceiling, and then that top hand is going to drop down in front of the foot as the rear hand reaches. Again, we're looking straight up. Before rising and swapping one last time. Other foot, down the back of the leg, eyes follow fingers to the ceiling. And then that top hand drops in front of the foot. And release. Finally, I'll turn side on so you can see what I'm doing for this next one. We're going to come on to one foot, slight bend at the knee again as we drive the chest down and lift that rear foot. Rear foot comes as high as possible, and then we straighten out the supporting leg. 3, 2, and release. Same thing other side. Slight bend at the knee as we start. Take your time setting up. Lift that rear foot as we drive the chest down, and then straighten up for 3, 2, and release. All right, should be good and warmed up now. Let's go. Flat on the mat. We'll start off with our X crunches. Starting with feet extended fully, we're going to bring one knee up to the elbow, straighten out both legs, and then same thing other side. So there's a variation of this where your legs are moving simultaneously. That's not what we're doing. One leg, both legs straighten out. Same thing other side. Extending both legs fully between each and every repetition. 4 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Hands come out to our sides. Legs come up to about a 45-degree angle. We're going to hit some egg beaters next. So, legs locked out at the knee, lower back pressed flat against the mat. So where there'd naturally be a little curve of the lumbar spine, we're consciously pressing those vertebrae flat. Reversing our circles now. Feet moving in the opposite direction, keeping that same nice generous range of motion. 2 more. And One more. Before we plant feet, hands by our sides, heels right up by our hips, and come up into a bridge. Looking for that straight line from shoulder to knee. We're then lifting our heels and holding that straight line. Dropping the heels, now lifting the balls of the feet. Still keeping those hips locked into line. Our torso is rigid no matter what our feet are doing. Drop the feet, lift the heels once more. And drop heels, lift the balls. Toes pointing straight up. 3, 2, flatten out, lift those heels one last time. Down we come, and lifting balls of the feet one last time. Flattening out, and then starting at the top of the spine, we're going to drop one vertebra at a time. Feeling every articulation of the spine as we press out one vertebral joint at a time. Working all the way down, tailbone touches the ground, and we return to the beginning. X crunches, one leg at a time. Exhale as the knee comes up. Inhale on the recovery. 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. Before we come straight into those egg beaters, try not to take a break between exercises. We're moving seamlessly from one to the next. 3, 2, one more. And back around we come. Keep those knees locked out. We don't want bent legs. Lower back is pressed flat and generous range. 3 more. 2 more. And the last one. Planting feet, returning to our bridge. Hit that straight line from knee to shoulder. And this time we're going to send one leg straight out in front, keeping those hips nice and high. We're just going to describe circles about the size of a basketball. Come back in the opposite direction now. Plant those feet. Lift the hips if they've dipped at all. And same thing other side. Circles about the size of a dinner plate or basketball. Keeping those hips nice and high. Reverse the circle. Bring it back in the opposite direction. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Planting feet. And again, lifting those hips if they've dipped. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 joint at a time. Hips remain elevated as we work down the spine. Pressing out the lower back, and then finally the tailbone. Knees come up, hands out by our sides, and keeping that angle at the knee constant, we're just going to drop one leg off to the side. So it's single leg windscreen wipers, alternating side to side, opening up those hips, maintaining a right angle at the knee, a right angle at the hip. Four, 3, 2 more, and 1 more before we extend those legs and come into our hundreds. So, roughly 45-degree angle to the ground, chest nice and high, hands pulsing by our sides. Going to keep that chest nice and high as we then separate the feet. Knees are still locked out. 3, 2, bring those feet back together. We're then going to drop them about halfway down to the ground. Separate once more. Bring those feet back together and then right down within a few centimeters of the ground, keeping chest nice and high. Again, separating those feet. Bring those feet back together. We're coming back to our starting position and just holding for another 10 seconds or so. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolling onto our side. We're going to turn that into a side plank. Elbow directly beneath shoulder, feet stacked. We come into our side plank, get those hips locked in nice and high, and then we're going to throw in some leg lifts on the top foot. Leg nice and straight. Foot stays horizontal, so I'm not letting my toes splay up as I lift. And exhale and lift while maintaining that beautiful straight line through the torso. 4 more. 3, 2, 1 more. Before dropping down onto our sides. I'm now gluing those legs together as I hit a double leg lift. So exhaling and lifting those feet as high as they'll go. This one we should feel in the oblique right here. If you're not getting that contraction down the side of the abs, play with your foot position. Sometimes if you slide them out just a little in front, you'll get a better activation of the obliques. 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Before we flip and hit the same thing on the other side. Set up for that plank, elbow directly beneath shoulder. Up we come. And then some leg lifts, keeping that top foot horizontal or parallel to the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. 3, 2, 1, and then down we come. Legs glued together as we exhale and lift. 3, 2, and the last one. Before flipping onto our bellies. We're going to start out with hands out by our sides and legs just having a little rest for this one. From the base of the spine, we lock up one vertebral joint at a time. Feeling that extension run up the whole length of the spinal cord. So it's not just the base of the spine that's switched on. We're feeling that curve up between the shoulder blades and all the way up to the base of the neck. Retract the shoulder blades and just hit little circles at shoulder height. Keeping that chest nice and high. And then keeping those shoulder blades packed together. We're just going to reverse the circles. 3, 2, 1. And again, starting at the base of the spine. Unlock a joint at a time as we ease our way back down. Coming up on our palms into a push-up plank. hands directly beneath shoulders. Feet again at roughly shoulder width distance. Nice stable base as we hit that straight line, because we're going to make things a little more interesting today with 2-point pulses. So basically what that means is one hand and foot lift for just a second, like so, and then we do the same thing other side. You'll notice I'm not letting my hips creep up. It's very easy to do so. As we start to lose our stability, we're going to keep those hips nice and low. So let's go, alternating side to side. Right hand, left foot, lift. And left hand, right foot, lift. Go. 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 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. We're then just going to lift 1 foot and hold for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and swap feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Onto hands and knees. And into our full range bird dogs. So we're going to hit a standard bird dog like so. And from there, we're going to make things a little more interesting by bringing our limbs 90 degrees around to the side. And then back. Drop and hit the other side. Extend out, 90 degrees around, and then back we come. We'll go for 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Before we turn those hands around and come into a cat stretch. Exhale and lift. Inhale and drop, lifting the skull, and repeat. Chin comes down towards the chest, and we lift that head as we drop the spine. Once more. Turning hands around, dropping down into child pose. Arms nice and straight, gentle downward pressure on the ground through the palms. Hips sinking into the floor. Up we come, onto hands and feet. Drawing hips straight up towards the ceiling as I drive my rib cage down towards my toes. From here, 1 foot lifts straight up, high as we can go, before letting that leg fall across the opposite side of the body, opening up the hip flexors. So you should feel that across the front of the hip of the lifted leg. And back we come, drop, lift those hips once more, and same thing other side. Lift, high as we can go, and then drape it over the side. 3, 2, and release. Lifting hips one last time before we drop back down. We're then going to lift the torso and bring our feet around. Feet sitting in front of us. I'm then going to lift one shin over onto the other. Straighten up. so that my torso and skull are directly over my hips as I sit in a half lotus. And then that top leg is going to come over, opposite arm, gently pressing against that thigh with the back of this arm to generate a stretch behind this shoulder. 3, 2, and release. That leg, comes back, and we're then going to bring it all the way behind us. So I want this shin parallel to my rib cage as I then drape my body down over the lower leg and just sink into the floor. Three, 2, and release. Up we come. Bring that leg back around. And we're going to do the same thing with the other leg now. So first off, into that half lotus position. As I said, correct your posture. You want the skull and rib cage directly over those hips before that leg continues its journey across. Opposite arm comes through, and we really engage that stretch. Releasing. Again, that leg comes all the way back around. This one is parallel to the rib cage as I drape my body down. Three, 2, and done. Bring those legs back out in front. Knees locked out, hands running down shins. Exhaling as we reach as deep as we can. And release. Finally, coming onto our feet. Into a nice deep squat. Hands touch the ground, and we're going to keep those hands in contact with the ground for as long as possible as we stand back up. Run those hands up the shins. And that, boys and girls, is us done for the day. Thank you.